But you made top 8, so...
Sex education is an important section in 5th grade.
I think that's going to be the thing we have to say to Ewok now. Every time he does something weird, being, aren't you an educator?
No, we don't teach sex ed anymore. It was removed from our curriculum.
But what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this degenerate piece of shit show, well known as Archons Corner.
Donation.
That's a quick donation. It was a long weekend. But we got all your favorite misfits. We got the Drasbor.
Hey guys, how's it going?
The Ewokiest of Ewoks.
Ewok Jr.
Hello,
KeyForge community.
Sorry, sex ed. Anyways, Sheep got distracted by a shiny object, so we got Pete.
What it is, what it do.
Yeah. I would expect nothing less. But here we are. It is the Grand Roseville show. If you weren't there or watching it on stream, this is all the things you need to know and all the things you missed. We had a ton of fun at Roseville.
You hope not to ever hear about.
Sex ed and I don't know. I could learn a thing or two.
Yeah.
But it's time for the Roseville recap show. We'll get to see who won everything and who gets bragging rights for the most predictions correct. We had 24, a new all-time low, thanks to GG.
Oh.
It would have been nice to be like an all-time high, but no, it was an all-time low.
That one did hurt. So Wookie, just going to jump right into this. Prediction-wise, you were the closest, but Price is Right rules, you were even over. And at 27...
So we all lose.
No, I'm going to give it to you.
The real losers, Ghost Galaxy.
Yeah. You were there at 27. Draz at 32. Ewok 35. Sheep just went way over.
He said like 50 really something, didn't he?
He said 50, and JT we threw in, he had 51. So,
all right. So going up Thursday night, we were greeted to a bunch of hockey people in the lobby because there was also a hockey tournament going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a Midwest thing or what. I know there was a Wisconsin team there, and there was a few. Was it a high school thing? Was it a college thing? What was it? Did you get any sort of info? I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, these were college students from what I had seen. Actually pretty high level college kids playing hockey. And it was really, really neat to be able to see that section there. You also missed that we dodged a whole bunch of storms. So the Midwest was like absolutely hammered. So
here's what I heard, because my wife was really concerned about the storms. Right, we were headed out. I'm gonna get all my treats here. We were headed out, and the first thing Amanda was like, "Oh, there's gonna be bad storms, like hail, like I think it was like 45, 50 mile an hour winds. It was supposed to be terrible, awful, bad." We dodged all of that, probably by the hair of our chins would be my guess.
Yeah, we actually lucked out on the timing in that we hit a few raindrops, but like there was hail that was 3.5 inches that hit and kind of went through.
I was gonna say, I heard that was all north of us though. Well, I heard that was like the West Bend area.
Yeah.
It was hail, 3.5 inches.
Yeah, it was big. It was like golf ball size.
It was really, really bad, but it was just north of where I am by probably about 15 minutes. But how we slipped, we went out west and then north. Everything to the north, it was really this eerie kind of purplish black color.
Yeah.
But where we were, it was nice sunshine, and we lucked out. So
yeah, we went to a sweet Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
Had nacho. Well, I had nachos. I think Sheep had nachos too. I don't know what you guys had.
Street tacos.
I had. I had the nachos and some street corn, Mexican street corn.
Yep. And Sydney and I had street tacos, and then
she was braver than you were. She got the lengua.
The lingua.
The lingua. For those of you who don't know what lingua is, that is tongue. Also known as gross.
Wookie likes the tongue.
I'm not a huge lingua. I've had lingua, but I'm good. I don't want to come back to lingua.
I mean, I'm good with just all sorts of tacos. So,
well, I mean, lingua is good if done properly, right? But I've had a whole lot of not done proper lingua, and it ruins all the other ones for you. So,
I can see that.
What kind of tacos did you have, Ewok?
Oh, I actually hit.
It's a birria.
Oh goodness, that was so early.
Oh, you went with a gamut. I remember. I ordered behind you.
I had 3 different types, but I honestly, pork was one, asado steak was another, and then there was something else that was there. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
It was actually street tacos would definitely be a spot that we would hit again.
Absolutely, that's better. Normally we hit mac and cheese, but we saw a taco joint, so we went there.
They also had the sweetest little burro that we got to ride.
Mm-hmm. You could find pictures of that maybe on our Instagram if I remember to post them.
You were riding a donkey?
Yeah, it was an inflatable donkey, so we decided to ride him around.
Inflatable donkey.
Yeah.
That is the best. Yeah, that is the best way to be able to come into the vault. So we had fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like you posted these. They're in
the Discord.
Yeah, I was getting sad about not being there.
Yeah, it was a good time. We ate nachos and rode donkeys. What's not to love?
Like a good ass time?
Yeah, it was in more ways than one because we're assholes and clowns. Get it? Waka waka.
Glad you explained that.
Yes, not a problem. And then we got in and drank copious. Well, I drank copious amounts of alcohol. I think Ewok kept himself upright.
Yep, that's what we do.
Yeah,
we'll enjoy a beverage.
We played Skulls, and I can't remember what other games we played, but we drank because we had to set up all the bottles, right, with the stickers that I made because I made stickers and we had them printed off and put them on bottles with everybody's corresponding alcohol.
Yeah, this was pretty awesome. You have to explain this.
So I don't know where the idea came from, but somebody had said everybody should get like their own liquor. Like I think I was Malort and Jägermeister. Let's see, Draz, what were you?
I was rum.
You were rum. Ewok was, remind me.
He was the sleeping Scotch.
Oh, that's right. He was a whiskey of some sort. But we got that and basically generated labels for all of them, right? And then stuck them to the corresponding alcohol. I believe that's in the Roseville section as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it actually in there? Oh, yeah. There's some images. Oh, here we go. So here's Sydney climbing up on top of you.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Behind the bottles. Yep. So let's see.
And if you scroll down a little bit, Ewok's climbing on top of me because he's a weirdo.
Yeah. I mean, we knew this.
Yeah.
We were riding reverse cowboy. But
I mean, why not?
Well, yeah.
But
right, so I'm going to open this in browser so I can zoom a bit. Here we go. We got some good stuff here.
I did think it was funny that people were like, "Oh yeah, these embarrassing photos." Like, no, that was before beverages were participated.
Well, hold on.
That's just us having fun.
Wookie's about 3/4 of a bottle of Jägermeister in at that point. I don't know what you're talking about. I was pretty deep.
We got some good ones.
I took some Malort shots. I took some Jägermeister shots. Maybe another Malort shot, more Jägermeister shots. I was pretty deep into that bottle already. I love Jägermeister.
You got
the baby bottle, yes,
Dr. Sheep Port, which is pretty hilarious because it's got a sheep in a suit with a little bow tie.
Yeah, and he's holding a glass of wine, or as sheep likes to call it, boozy raisins.
Boozy raisins. So that was pretty good. We've got the Slumbering Glen, which is a sleeping Ewok, like sleeping while sitting, which is amazing.
But you got to read its catch line.
It's a little bit blocked in this, though, just the picture.
Oh yeah, I believe the Oh man, I gotta find it. It was like moved by nothing, aged by time, or something like that.
I think it's probably the opposite, or aged by time, moved by nothing is probably what it says.
Let me go find it. I will be able to find it because we did.
It's pretty good.
I had posted these all somewhere. Let's see. There's the help from future self one. Yeah, here we go. Aged by time, moved by none.
Pretty good. I like that one. Might be the best. That might be the best label. It's pretty hilarious.
I'm trying to think. What else?
There were plenty of really good ones. Draz, yours is there front and center. What did you have?
Yep, I had the Drazcore vintage rum. So it's the podcasting rum. So pretty cool label. It's got a cool barrel on it and some, I don't know what those are. So there was some Illuminati symbols or something. I don't know what those are, but it's pretty cool looking.
Yours was one of the original ones I made because I had made you a few.
Mm-hmm.
But they all, for whatever reason, whenever you type your name into AI, it just ends up looking like a Wookiee. Because I think it picks up on the show, and my name is usually in the beginning. So it's like, that's what it must be. But I did make the Drazcore experience. I showed you guys that one. It was the rum.
Yeah.
It was brewed in the deepest forge, but, rum's not brewed.
Yeah, well, it's not. So,
Well,
anywho.
technicalities.
Lots of cool ones. So we had what else we got here?
Well, you have a number of different podcasters. So both Jason and Tobin were represented.
Yep.
You had help from Future Self. So that's Warcast Reforged. You had help from Future Self, and Sydney had hers. We had some even from the team of Reap Outs that showed up. We had Judges that was here with Marcus.
I made the Flaming Hobo Pick Whitney.
Yep, Pink Whitney.
Yeah. An Amaretto for Marcus.
Your local team Drazcore at Redacted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Liquid Squash actually made some of his own that he had with Squash.
That wasn't bad. The Squash.
It was actually really good.
Yeah.
It was very
so that was so he made a squash infused old fashioned. So I think my guess, I have to ask him how exactly he did it. My guess is he sliced up some squash, dried it out, infused it in the whiskey, and then made a old fashioned mix with some bitters, a little sugar,
It was a lot of sugar,
and
it was very sugary.
And it was sweet, but it was balanced, right?
It
was good. Like sometimes you can overdo the sugar, but it was really good. The squashiness was there.
Yep.
But it was there in a way that blended, and it was delicious. So
you could also tell what squash it was.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not. What squash did you think it was? I knew exactly what kind of squash you used.
Liquid.
No. That was the whole thing was liquid squash.
I'm gonna say it was a acorn squash.
Oh.
Now that I don't really remember, you should ask me at the moment.
Yeah, I should have.
It was a spaghetti squash.
I thought I very, very much tasted like a butternut.
Sure.
That's what I was.
Might have been.
Butternut squash is what I'm going with.
I do not know. I will tell you that the beverages were very, very good. I will say for the sweetness, there was no issue there. It masked the alcohol.
That was good.
Extremely well, and that could be extremely dangerous. Just counting our bottles that were here, there was also some extras from KFC that was brought up, but the labeled bottles that we had were 19. There were 18, and then the one set of Guinness. So there was plenty of beverages.
Plenty to go round. Plus, we had a bottle of Bailey's Irish Cream from 1997.
Yes. Not from 1997.
Oh, it expired in 1997.
It's 97. I guess Sydney took this from her parents' basement. She's like, they're not going to drink this. Just like made off with it. So, Yeah.
Which was great because me and Mammon, I think at the end of night 2, poured out what little liquid was left in it, and it couldn't have been more than 7 drops. Right? Like, it was so little. And the rest was
foulest smelling thing.
The rest was just hard on the inside.
Like it all curdled over the past decades.
And if you needed to wake up in a hurry, I sobered up quickly after I took a whiff of that. And I was like, "Oh God!" Like, it was bad. It was really
pretty
bad.
Outrageous.
But it was interesting. But that's the end of Thursday night. Headed into Friday morning sealed. Draz and Mammon, you guys, well, Mammon's not here, but Draz, you went Misant. What is Misant?
Well, okay, so Mammon DG and myself, right? So he's a local here. We were like, all right, we're gonna drive to the airport together Friday morning. There was a cheap flight Friday morning. For whatever reason, all the flights Thursday night were expensive. And so I was like, whatever, we'll just get the Friday morning flight. It'll be fine. And so Mammon's like, hey, I don't got TSA pre-check. Like, I want to make sure I'm there 2 hours in advance. So I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, yeah, we should ride together. So like, come to your house, leave my car there. We'll drive together. I was like, yeah, it's cool. He's like, so I'll see you at 3 a.m. And I went, wait, what? I did a little math. I was like, oh shit, he's right. We have to be driving at 3 a.m. to get to the airport 2 hours in advance. And so that was a little bit rough. I was like, why did we do this to ourselves? But yeah, we drove all the way to the airport and got our flight and flew into Minneapolis. We took an Uber directly to Misant. So Misant is a
Vietnamese cuisine.
Yeah, it's like Vietnamese bakery and restaurant situation. Yep. So and it's delicious. It's like right near the game center.
I will second this. It is absolutely delicious. Like very savory.
Like, their bread is so good. The croissants are amazing. And you can get their banh mi sandwiches, which, if you throw an egg in there, that makes it breakfast, right? So we get these things, we just like, right? And then get some croissants and some coffee because we needed coffee. And it was delicious. So it was a great way to start off our morning.
Coffee?
So I heard that
Vietnamese coffee is strong.
Well, it is, but then it's cut with condensed milk.
Oh,
so it's also very sweet.
Sweet,
and that's not really my.
It's not your jam.
So I did not get the Vietnamese. Yeah.
The answer to your question is yes, because I can go ahead and look online. So house coffee, cold press, chai, tea latte, and Vietnamese coffee.
Nice.
Yeah. So I just did
check it out.
Yeah, I didn't get the Vietnamese coffee, but I did get coffee. So
we move in to Friday morning sealed. Boys, how'd y'all do? How were your decks?
Well, let's start with Pete because he's quiet, and this is definitely for him.
Come on, Pete.
Start us off.
Oh, and Pete joined us for Misant, by the way.
Oh.
So we texted. Yeah. Pete was like, "Oh yeah, I'll be there." So he shows up. And,
shit!
Pete in the morning.
Shit!
Yeah.
Shit! Oh fuck, Pete, you made top 8.
Well, that's way premature. Okay?
Oh shit!
Like way premature. I will pay your $1 because you're excited for our teammates and what's there. But
I totally didn't realize that. I was just like, Pete made top 8. Not only did we pop your cherry, we did make you a top 8.
Yeah. Oh god, so that's so gross. I wanted to talk about Misant some more. Is that how you pronounce it?
Misant. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. And I said, hey, I'm going to McDonald's. What's everybody else doing? And then Transcore responded like, we're going to Misant. And I didn't know what it was. I just knew it sounded above my pay grade. So I ate my McDonald's in the parking lot, like 5 feet away from them. When I got inside, they were literally sitting right in the window where I was eating.
Right in the window, yeah.
But I got something while I was there. I didn't want to be cheap, so I got something exotic. It's called an Americano.
That's just coffee.
I know.
In water.
It was
water, but yes.
It was the dribbliest goddamn coffee I've ever had. The whole morning, somehow, I don't know. I was cleaning it up. But anyway, Sealed was awesome. I went 4-2, just like I did at KFC, except this time around, 4-2 gets you top 8.
Yeah, well, there's only 24.
That's right.
I think that, Pete, you made the smartest choice, though, because you chose packet number 28. And you should definitely go check out Help from Future Self, because apparently that was supposed to go to Devin, and he passed on it. And I was trying to be gracious and say, Pete,
nope.
Which one would you like? Yep.
Nope, the correct packet to choose was packet 171.
Well,
which was Sheep's. Because when me and Sheep went up together, and I said, Marcus gave me my option of 2. And I said, I'll take this one. And Sheep's like, I'll just take the other one. You'll find out why this is important later.
Well, for anyone following along with our AC Live show, we do have a couple people in the audience. I posted my sweet 3 decks, and the highlights out of these 3 was Lunacrisis, the Vizier of the Hawk, coming in at Amber Skies, a whopping 58 sass. That's right, 58. And why? No. That was definitely the lowest there. But this Brobnar pod, I think it deserves some attention because it had quad Cirrus Mace. Anyone who is unfamiliar with this sweet Brobnar artifact action, give a creature 2 +1 power counters, deal 2 damage to each of that creature's neighbors. Super that's
versatile,
there.
super good. Yeah.
There were a couple things, but apparently my whole option was I'm going to play creatures. So if you had wipes, which is really key in Sealed, that's going to hurt. All 3 of these decks, they had no amber, 7 amber, 8 amber, and then one of them had 12 amber, properly spread out between the houses. So yeah, I did manage to take a win though. So I went 1-2, and I think the highlights here is there is a disc package in the Excellent Alchemist where it has Lord Invidious, Drumble, Dust Imp, Double Arise, Gift of Ember, They Tell No Tales, Clipped Wings. This isn't the worst. Double Suspendamander. And so I played that. But I really had a lot of fun in game number 1. I was down a key, and I landed Invidious right in the center. And my opponent made a choice to play Daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Continue. So you could steal it?
Well, but they really helped me because they put this other card, this Logos card, where you can't play creatures larger than its power.
I'm trying to decide whether my
DDoS?
decks...
Yes. DDoS is so good in Sealed, guys.
Oh my god, I gotta tell my DDoS story.
Yes. But going ahead and stealing a Daughter with DDoS, where I got a draw off of it, and then it was put behind taunt, pretty much shut down that game. And
well, hold on. I got one better for y'all.
Yeah, I felt really bad about that, but that was the only way I worked my way back into that game. And the next games, without DDoS and without a Daughter that I had taken, it was pretty much if you could destroy my board, I had very little. And that's what I saw is there was a lot of C actually going around in the people I faced. So I'd place a board, boop, it got wiped. I place a board.
Oh yeah, I had tons of C.
Yeah.
Tons
of C.
But
all right, go ahead. What did you do with
So my game 1, this is probably the best game I had too, right? I think I went 2-2. Maybe 3-2. I don't even remember. It was probably 3-2. Not very good, as you can see. My 74, 68, 74. Nothing really crazy or cool. You can watch my game versus Sheep on stream, where I have a dominant control over the game until all of his Brobnar hit. Literally all of them. I think within the span of 2 turns, he played 12 Brobnar cards. So I got the whole Brobnar house to just come wreck me. But game 1, I'm going up against Gorlami. Gorlami out-negotiates, kills my creatures, wipes the board. And then what's the one where... Oh, is it High Stakes Negotiation? What is it? High Stakes Turn? The one where you name a card and you pitch your... he discards a random card from your hand until he either hits one of that house or...
High Street Turn.
Well, all I had was Brobnar.
Such a weird card.
There it is, High Street's Turn. All I had was Brobnar, and he chose Skyborn. So I had to discard my whole hand and draw a new hand. Ended turn promptly, no creatures on board. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Because of that drew me into a DDoS with a mouse. Is it the woman? No. What was it? Durable Rico. Sarasota has a quantum mouse and a DDoS. So I play my quantum mouse and I kind of look up and I go, DDoS? And Gorlami looks down and he just goes, what does that do? Reads the card and goes, oh shit, that's going to be a problem. he had no 1-power creatures in his deck. And no C to kill
removal.
it. And no removal to kill it. He used his out-negotiate already.
Yep. It's real good and sealed.
So, yeah, that was pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie to nobody. I had a good time. Game 1. I would not again see that combination of cards in my hand. But it was, hey, it was his own doing. He made me discard the hand. I was promptly going to go into Brobnar next turn.
Well, so speaking of Gorlami, I don't know if you guys know. So Gorlami has this terrible defeat against Wookiee. Poor Gorlami. So then next round, guess who got paired up?
You and Gorlami?
Gorlami paired up into me.
Okay.
I just run over the poor dude. I felt so bad. He was like, how did you lose? I was like, oh no, dude, you must have gotten paired up. He's like,
no.
I was like, sorry, dude.
Oh no.
Yeah, Team Reap Out really took a lot of O2s. There were a lot of people there.
To be fair, there was only 4 of them.
Hey, go ahead.
And poor Gorlami, like that. Though he
getting paired up,
chatting with his decks. He paired up. I was chatting about his decks. I don't think he had a lot of options. He's a great player, and sometimes in sealed, you just actually Roseville last year when I opened my sealed stuff, I was like, well, if I win a single game, I will feel good about myself.
Yes.
So this it can happen sometimes.
And I think that's what needs to be kept in mind for everyone who's playing and kind of following along. If you open and there's some decks, you can go ahead and alliance all you want. It's not going to help you. And so to realize if you can pull 1 win, that's a really big day for you. And that's a success. It may not get you to top 8. It may not get you to first place that you want, but just pulling a win with the deck that you put together is important. I will say though, Wookie, the highlight of sealed experience is you guys Friday morning went to a local establishment and bought some hats.
Oh yeah, so we had to run to Walmart in the morning. I told you because we okay. So here's the thing: we decided to drink Thursday night, and then promptly realized we had 0 mixers. So all of Thursday was just drinking straight booze.
Sweet.
So we're like, yeah, we need mixers. So we went to the store. And I don't know who I'm waiting for. I might have been waiting for both of them. And I'm like, fuck it. What's down here? You guys have all been to the shopping with your wives, right? You're welcome for my donation. I don't know if you noticed, we scared our new teammate off already. I went shit, and she just ran away. But anyways, she'll fit right in. It'll be fine. But like, I was like, I'm going to go poke down here, and I'm poking around, and we found cowboy. We found 3 cowboy hats. One was a Bud Light, a Bush Light. What was the third one?
It just was a wicker.
No, because there was 3 cowboy hats.
That was Miller. It had Miller.
Was it Miller Light?
I thought it was Miller. Yeah.
That's the one That's the one I ended up with, and actually.
And then we bought because there was a Miller Light one, but that was the woven hat. Because we bought 3 cowboy hats and 2 woven hats. One was a fish, and one was Miller Light. We don't know how the fish got. We don't know how the fish got in there.
One was the light up one with the star on the front.
Ah, that's right. It was the light up one with the star. Yep, they lit up and it was stars. So we came back and we decided. And again, if you join the Discord, you can see our awesome pictures of our hats pretty much all weekend. And that kind of became the what do you want to say? The theme of the weekend was if you won, you got to take their hat.
Yeah, and actually it started as an off chance. My first game, I ended up playing Matt from Duluth, and that was his first vault. And I love to be able to see people, even with a decrease in individuals, there were 2 new people at the vault that I got a chance to meet. And Matt was he was by himself. He's got a local scene. He's really into the game, but he was the kindest person. He was so excited for the game. And I had this silly hat, and I don't know why, but it was saying I needed to give the hat to him. And so I ended up giving the hat, like we invited him, like if you're hanging out, if you're just by yourself, you need to go get food with anyone, know that we are community. Come find us. And that's what KeyForge is great for, is that at any point in time, anyone who's new or experienced can just come along for food or drinks or just spending time. And so Matt, I gave the hat to at the end of the game. He asked for me to sign it. Sure, we went ahead and signed. But I kept seeing him around still wearing that hat on Saturday, on Sunday. Like I saw him with the hat, and it was really a sign of pride. Now, he didn't get the win in that game, but it was important. I don't know. It was a really cool moment to see his excitement, to be able to see what was all happening. And it caused then other people to start to trade off the hats when they were lost. But I just like the idea of welcoming someone into our KeyForge community. So shout out to Matt. It was a great game. I appreciated being able to have you there, man. And to see you enjoying that hat really started the weekend off in the right path for me. And it really was something special for me.
For those of you live, you can see I posted a picture of the hats.
Oh, there it is.
There you go. So that Bud Light hung out with me pretty much all weekend. But either way,
I will say for games 2 and 3, I faced Dave C, and Repo got revenge right there. Because double Arise, double Vapor Imp is definitely something.
That's real. I got no diss.
Yep. And then X-Ray and game 3, basically I opened up turn 1, going first 7 cards. I dropped Lord Invidious. He responded with a Delta D. Okay. Well, I have a Rise in my hand. Let's try this again. So I put it back out. And he a Gift of Embered it. And that was pretty much that game. I got blown out. So again, getting a win, having fun, being with the KeyForge family. But sometimes you just you lean into cards, you lean into what.
Still, I hate to say it. I only went 2-2, 3-2. Draz, I don't know what you ended up, or Ewok. I
got top 8.
The most fun I had all weekend still is sealed, right? I didn't do great in it.
Yep.
Right. Excuse me, a little whatever. I'm not even gonna explain it. But still, the whole weekend was like
your burp. You're not going to explain it.
It wasn't a burp. Okay, it was like a weird hiccup burp fart combination. Like it was weird. A whole lot of gases happened at the same. Whole lot of gases happened all at the same time. But
both ends.
But yeah, I know. And I think I lost my intestines now. They're just gone. But
I appreciate anyone who is still with us. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's still the most fun. Just that turn round 1 where you're like, when I play the mouse and just look up and go DDoS, right? And then kind of like looking for like a reaction, like this is a thing, and then you finding out that you're like, oh no, like that reaction was well worth the price of admission.
But that's what Sealed offers, and so I still would like to see Sealed with Archon, Sealed with Alliance in different days. I think that you'd actually get individuals who would be excited to be able to play Sealed twice and feel like they have options. The chance
to be honest with
something
you,
that's unknown is really big.
To be honest with you, like if I was offered day 2 another Sealed event, I probably would have, like, if it's not a pod, right? I would have probably played it. Honest, I probably would have played it. I probably would like, yeah, Sealed. But we end day 1 with, oh no, you guys went. How did we end day 1 Sealed?
So did
they go to top 4?
Yeah, they did play top 8. So Team AC guys did absolutely ridiculous. 6 out of the 8 slots being taken. So huge shout out to Pete, to X-Ray, to Mammon DG, to Drazgor. You guys definitely took that top 8 slots.
Yeah, you guys locked down all the bottom slots. Way to go, guys.
Hey, they were 6 of the 8. I mean, if we're here, then Zenzik, who had a phenomenal weekend, and Captain Crispy did top 4.
Trays are not clean.
And do you want to do runner?
Yeah, we might as well. We had a winner of all of Alliance, all of Sealed.
What did I say?
Dr. Sheep, king of the small events. We need to get him a crown.
Yeah, and our own Sunday
Small one.
Runner up.
And Morgan went ahead and took second. She played really, really well.
All decks ascended. I'm just kidding. None of those decks were ascended because this is Sealed. But Friday night, where did we try to go Friday night? I remember we didn't end up where we wanted to be because we ended up at where did we go?
Well, so yeah, we originally were trying to go to what was the name of it? I think it was Surly.
Surly. Yes, it was Surly, but it was like an hour and a half wait. Yeah.
So they were packed. It's a very popular place. I've thought about going a number of times, but we just never made it there. So that was super packed. So we ended up going. I looked at a couple of the other breweries in the area that because people were hungry and stuff. It felt like some beers. So I actually looked at. There is literally Falling Knife Brewing. Like, is that how CTP got the idea?
Oh, I forgot. We got Josh. We got Josh Balls at the at Walmart too.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, Falling Knife did not serve food, so we ended up at Insight Brewing, which was, I thought was pretty good. The beer was good. They had a pizza truck outside.
Some of their pizzas really good. Some of their pizzas were okay.
Yeah. They were pretty tasty. I mean, they were a little pricey, but they were very
$20 for one of them tiny pizzas. I understand that's food truck prices,
huge,
right? But that was like almost a personal. That was like that might have been a tiny skosh smaller than a frozen pizza.
It was, I don't know. Yeah, how was it? 12-inch?
I don't know. I don't think they said how big they were because you just chose which one you wanted. Yeah, we started out with, we got like a chicken one, which wasn't supposed to be spicy, but ended up being spicy.
Wasn't that spicy?
Maybe I just like half of something got on like the half that I ate because there was some spice in there. I was like, this was supposed to be spicy. There was a little bit.
It was a little seasoning, but it was...
I don't know what got on it, but my half, I was like, holy shit, this is spicy.
They were gourmet. They were gourmet pizzas, but again, being in the brewery at the tap room, you had access to some food and some beer. It was a good experience.
And there was a graduation going on.
There was.
Yeah. Mazel tov.
Congratulations to whoever was graduating. I at one point thought about just jacking some of their Qdoba because I think that's what they had.
They did.
Yeah.
Just being like, congratulations. I'm your Uncle Wookie. Here's a 20.
The scariest thing anybody could possibly hear.
I'm your Uncle Wookie. Here's a 20. And just, You know.
If she turned around and was a Ghostbuster girl, that would have just been perfect.
Oh no, that would have been terrible. That'd have been awful. But that's gonna end Friday. You got Mavericks roast beef. Is that where you guys went for lunch? I didn't do lunch any of the days.
Yeah, that's where we went for lunch. It was actually really good. So
Yeah.
I had so last year when we were asking I think it was Luke and Jeremy we were hanging out with, asking them like, what's good around here.
Where's the
And I'm pretty
spot?
sure it was Luke mentioned Mavericks Real Roast Beef as a place, but we just didn't get there. So this year, somebody was like, "Hey, we should get some roast beef." I was like, "Heck yeah, let me do that." So we went over and got the roast beef. It was very good. It was definitely worth
the price of admission.
Yeah, it was pretty tasty. It was one of the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had.
Nice. Now I'm sad I didn't go.
Well,
But we do lunch so early at these events. It's like we
2
just
o'clock.
Was it that late? I thought it was earlier than that. I thought it was like 1 o'clock noon. I'm pretty sure it was like 1 o'clock noon because I think we had to be back by 2 o'clock, didn't we, to start the event?
Maybe it was 1, but it wasn't. I don't know.
Well, we just ate it at like 9.
Okay.
It was like I just ate at 9. Because you went down to the breakfast thing every morning, and it was like 9:30. We're eating, and then you got to be there by 10. And then you're doing
and I suppose we're not burning a lot of calories sitting moving cards around. So.
No.
I mean, it is a bummer because you're up early. Well, I'm up much, much earlier than that, but just trying to wait and kind of, you can't get into Games Enter. So there's a lot of sitting around. But then once we're in, we basically play 2 rounds and then you go grab food. But yeah, I get it. It is what it is.
It just seems quick. I don't know. And then everybody went, and I'm like, I was like, I don't know. It was one of those things where it's like, I'm good. Like, I had like 3 dozen eggs this morning. I'm solid, man. Like, I don't need nothing. So,
I mean, it is one of those buffet situations, right? So
you offer me eggs, I'm going to eat eggs, right? Like, all of the eggs. Just give me eggs, and I'll eat them. Because eggs are delicious.
They're expensive, man. So.
Well, yeah, especially now, right? Like, yeah, eat as many eggs as you can. They're pricey. Moving into our Friday night, that's what we did for dinner. Oh, yeah, and then we just went back and played beer pong. Well, actually, we just played water cup pong and then drink when you get it.
So apparently this is what people are doing these days, like in colleges. They're not putting the beer directly into the cups.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And they're like, because it's gross. I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course.
Well,
That's what you do.
The reason I didn't do it is because we're in a hotel, right?
Wow.
Beer pong is notoriously messy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, and I didn't want to have alcohol over every inch of that carpet.
You didn't want to be like Sydney and dump a bottle of red liqueur on the floor.
Oh God, that had to. Oh my God, I can't even imagine. I don't even know if that shit came out. That was
like I'm standing there. Sydney like hurls the table, and the bottle just goes. Dunk,
she didn't hurl the table. She just
on the
fell.
Floor.
Just straight up fell.
That's how I grab it. It's upright.
I don't even know what that bottle was, but whatever was in it was fantastic. I would drink more of it.
Yeah, it was actually really good.
I don't know what it was.
Liqueur.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was only like 16 or 18% alcohol, but it was really, I think it's what Marcus was using to make whatever his drinks were, because he made me a drink and I was like, ooh, that's dangerous. I was like, that's really good. And yeah, you can definitely taste it. So whatever it was very, very good. But yeah, it was also a deep red. Red doesn't come out of carpet very well.
Or the towel. Yes.
Oh Lord, it got on the towel. Oh, I guess that's all we had was white towels. Oh boy. Well, that was the reasoning I used water instead of liquor, because I didn't want it to get all over the floor. Then the floor gets sticky and it's a bad time. So I was like, use the water, right? It just makes life easier.
It did show me some dexterity from some of our KeyForge players, which was very interesting.
Yep.
Or lack of dexterity from some of you.
Well, then we had to figure out the rules, because for some of us, it's been almost 20 years since the last time we played beer pong.
Yeah.
And me and Pete got into some rules arguments.
What was the rules argument?
I forget. Pete, what do we argue about? I know one time we're like, no, it was the ball. It was the over the line rule.
So basically, where your hand is going past your board to start.
Well, it's your elbow, right?
Yeah, the elbow has to be at the edge
elbow.
of the table. I don't know.
Pete bounced out. He'll be back in a
Pete's
bit.
deafened and muted right now, so he's probably taking a smoke because he's like,
like screw these guys. I'm going to smoke.
Yeah.
I've been
This
there.
is not to be a podcaster.
I've been there. But that was a good time. That was also the night me and Mammon decided to check out that awesome bottle of Bailey's. And by check out, I mean sniff, and that was horrible. But it's probably a bad decision on both our parts, but we did it anyway. You know,
It was pretty rank.
Yeah, it was every bit of as bad as you'd think it would be. Maybe a little bit more.
Boys,
What?
we did not go ahead and talk about the shirts that were unveiled.
Oh, the A asses out team?
Oh, that's right.
I'm sorry. I should.
Oh, shoot. I forgot. I just threw that in the laundry. My wife is going to be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Yes, we did. We did start the new KeyForge drinking team. If any of you'd like to join, because let's be honest. What's a KeyForge event without copious amounts of alcohol?
Speaking of, Pete, you are part of this team.
Yes, sir.
Do we get pictures
Yes,
of any
sir.
of the
I am.
shirts?
A man of many words. Yes.
Yeah, I have expected a yeah.
I keep considering it as an evening PJ shirt, but then I'm like, what are my kids gonna think?
You have a problem.
Papa's got a lady butt on her shirt. Well, they're tiny, so
Here you go.
confused. So I
I
haven't had a use for it since the vault, but I'll certainly bring it back to the next one because I expect the team will be going strong for a while.
We need to find another competitive card game to go up against. I feel like that's the thing that needs to happen.
I feel like we're going to be outnumbered regardless of which one we
Probably.
pick.
There you go. If you want to see the asses out shirts, there they are.
Mhm. Hell yeah.
Great design made by me. You're welcome.
Well done.
Thank you.
But was Saturday the night that we also had people playing the gang? And
The gang was
Yep. And
nope. The
Flip
gang
7.
was Saturday.
that was Saturday, not
We're
Friday.
still on
so yeah.
Friday. I
Oh,
mean,
right.
Saturday we played. I think we played some more skulls. Like we kind of mishmashed a handful of games in there.
But it was
Skulls
nice
is
to be
always a
able
fun
to-
game. I'm pretty sure somebody took. I don't know where my copy went. It might have gone with Marcus. I'll get it back someday.
Well, Sheep and I cleaned up on Sunday. And it was
So it's
there,
somewhere around there.
Yeah, Sydney has it.
Fair enough. So we move into Saturday. Saturday is Archon and or sealed.
Well, there was an announcement for Archon
Right.
or Alliance.
So the question on this one.
Yep. No, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
No.
So the question on this one was, will it be stacked? It wasn't stacked. It was staggered.
Staggered.
So
What do you mean? What do you mean by staggered?
So is it at the end of round 1 or round 2? I want to say it was end of round 1.
3.
No. So So basically, they announced this before it was started that it would be staggered.
Yeah.
But what they did go ahead and talk about is that anyone who has fallen out is 0-2 would be able to go ahead and play in Alliance, or basically they could join Alliance. Now, there was a sheet that was sent around from some players asking for it to be stacked. There was actually 2 different groups that had gone ahead and brought that to Josh. But the idea was that they could not stack it based on the time frame. We were in the small room over at Game Center, and we had a time restriction. But they could stagger it, which anyone who was O2 or chose to be able to drop out and leave, you would be able to go ahead and play an alliance. Was this clear to you guys, or was this problematic? Because it did cause some issues with some individuals.
It sounded like it caused some issues.
But no, for you, from what you heard.
For what?
I mean, it seemed...
Because from what I heard and what I... Because I think what we heard and what some people heard were two different things.
Okay.
Because I think it was, I have qualified. I am 3-0. I can just now move into Alliance, and then I can be in all three. And I know Josh had come to me and asked me about it, and I was like, no, like, you need to choose. Like, you're either going... I was like, because then we run into the same problems that we've had at every other vault, where you can't have...
You'll have
people double qualifying, and now you've got a top 4 game that's waiting on a person that's playing over here in Archon, or vice versa, and it just, like, it doesn't... Like, the timing just sucks. Like, you need to pick one. That's the whole point of having them split in the first place. So why, if you're not going to stack them, why would you then have this? Why would you just ram yourself into the same problem?
Yeah, I felt that it was clear. There was some confusion if someone had gone basically 3-0,
right?
That people felt that they would be able to go in. But for me, I felt that it was clear enough how it was explained that you're in one Archon event or you're in one Alliance event. You cannot be in both simultaneously. And that's just for a scheduling component because, yes,
well, just said, like if
we can't play the top 8 games at the same time. And we don't want to be waiting on someone.
Right. So, like, why would you jam yourself into the same problem that when you're going to immediately put your foot down and say, yep, we will not stack these no matter how low, you're going to run yourself into the same problem. So I thought it made sense to me, but clearly some people heard it very differently.
Yeah, I will say that there was second Amber. What this did offer is that some Alliance players did come in to play Archon, and it caused some problems because they actually did well, and then they had a choice of should I drop because they were really there for Alliance. And so that's where some of the confusion and frustration came in the community. But again, I did not run into that. I did not see that as an issue for me personally, but it was something that was there. Second Amber was open and able to be played. I think that if it had been maybe a little bit clearer up front for everyone, then some people just would have gotten a chance to go ahead and play in something else. Now, the problem is that when Archon was running, if you made the choice to not play in Archon, but to play in Alliance, Second Amber was not open immediately until you went 0-2. And so that there was nothing to do while we waited. And was it at 2 or 3 o'clock, boys? I think it was 2:30 that they were going ahead and shifting, if I remember correctly, on that one.
Yeah, it was right after lunch.
Yeah, but that was kind of the thought process. But I think, again, just clearly delineating, we're going to have 2 separate tournaments. If you want to, if you are here for Alliance, you
need to drop out of the Archon event.
Well, correct, but also have something for those players to do. if you came in and you're looking forward to playing at 10 and 11 o'clock when we should be starting, and now you have to wait until 2:30. With that, with the staggered, we were able to get 11 players to go ahead.
Yes, 11 players Alliance. Went to Alliance. Yeah, otherwise it would have been like 4, from what I heard.
I don't know the actual number that it would have been, but 11 is what we finished with. Still,
yeah, I mean it's still the same amount we had last year. Oh no, same amount we had at Rochester. Rochester had 11.
I have to go back into the notes on that one.
I'll keep going. Yeah. Roseville last year. Nope, that's not it.
10 for Rochester had 10 for Alliance.
10 for Alliance.
So now we're looking at 10 and 11, 11 with it being staggered. It's, I know some people really, and Morgan's saying in the chat here, Rochester was 11. Okay. But regardless, those are not great numbers. I mean, as a whole, they're not great numbers, but it is their baby. They seem to want to die on this hill of let's keep going with Alliance. So,
Well,
regardless, if it's your jam and you enjoy it, I think playing KeyForge is playing KeyForge, and you'll see that even some of the people on this cast really enjoy playing KeyForge, and so they went ahead and played.
But we get into that. Should we go over standings on those? Because we didn't finish that day, right? We went into top 8. So
should we go with how did your Archon day end up going? So Pete, let's start with you. How did Archon go for you, bud?
Well, I was surprised. I really thought that the deck I borrowed from Mammon was going to perform. But it didn't do so hot. I won my first game, I believe, and then I went up against Hobo, who had a talk deck with a lot of archiving, and I brought some archive hate in my deck. But he thoroughly trounced me with superior play. And then...
and that deck that you're speaking of that Hobo was playing was Rubberjaw, the Miscreant of Wood, which is actually a Vargas deck, 99 SAS, so it's no poor
Slouch.
It's no slouch. It is the Stepwolf talk deck that made top 8. So
it's got triple eddies, an EP, double against all flags, double red line rotation, and a prop. No, not prop dusting. That's not the one I thought it was.
It's got a safe port there.
The triple nature's call.
Triple's nature call is there.
And I know he's got a waist knot, which I think he uses the waist knot on the Stepwolf to pop those to
the Key Frog.
No,
well, he does it on the Key Frog at the end, but he can do it on the Stepwolf once they get really, really big.
Right. Okay. But in my game, he whipped it out with the Key Frog. Just when I thought maybe I had a hope of stabilizing, he went, Untamed Frog, and I went, ah! And he got me.
Whipped it out, huh?
He whipped it out. Mm-hmm. And then in the third round, I faced Jace from the Warcast Reforged.
Yep.
Yeah. And gosh, he just embarrassed me. It was awful. He stole my Amber Drake. He did a bunch of nasty stuff to my deck.
Oh, stole the Amber Drake. Oh,
he stole it. I forget what else. I just listened to their podcast today, which, by the way, they did a great job of recapping the events of the event. So
and Jace, again, that deck was no slouch of a deck. That was 104 SAS Grim Reminders deck that Jace went ahead and took 2 top 8 of Archon. So you faced 2 of the top 8 players there.
Yeah.
You got an uphill climb, that's for sure.
And I'm looking here. Double BR Geist, Ecto Charge, double in here somewhere, Junk Restoration, Cursed Tomb, Reaper, Crop Circles, Don't Believe Your Eyes, going ahead and looking, Reclaimed, Circle of Life, Waste Knots, Pixie. This should be Witch of the Wilds, which can do some wonderful things. So this is brutal.
So I duplicated,
which is cool. Yeah.
I duplicated my KFC in both events we've talked about so far, except for Archon. My second loss came from facing a person instead of just being disqualified for showing up late from lunch. So still an improvement in its format.
You're moving up in this world, Pete.
That's right. I'm getting better and better.
Oh, all right.
Wookie, you're up next. What happened for you, my friend?
Are we going?
Or should we go Drasco? Yeah, no, we're doing
mine is the saddest of all. Like I didn't really feel comfortable because I had decided finally on Saturday. I had decided what I wanted to do because I was still on the fence. Mr. Drazkor was gracious enough to borrow me Arya, which it's a deck I've really fallen in love with. And I was gonna play it there. And but I also have Z's Texas San Antonio winning Alliance deck, and I had really, really, really wanted to ascend it. I really wanted to, so I'm stuck. I'm in a pickle, right? And finally, it wasn't until walking into the game center that morning that I had made my decision because I was super on the fence still. Didn't know what I was going to do. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to send this fucker. 4Z. Right? Put your fists in the air, right? It was an act of defiance, even if it was only an act of defiance that I understood. And that's it. So I decided to go into Alliance, and then they're like, well, we're going to stagger them. And I was like, what? And then, so I really didn't feel comfortable ruining two people's days. So I went up against Panic. He beat me, and Drazcor beat me. So that was it. That was my day. And then I went into Second Ember. And that was it. That was my sad Archon. If I would have actually tried, I might have done something, but...
Well, but I think this is what it shows, is when the field is so tiny, you have to be on your game from game one. Like, none of these players here are slouch players. There was no give me game. This isn't here's a warm-up game. Sometimes when you have a very large field, you can go ahead and have... You're not immediately facing your teammates. Like, everyone had to be on. Everybody
you're correct, but it's also a problem in that small field when you're doing this, because you're like, well, we're going to start with Archon and then we'll move. I don't want to, as much of and here's your $1. As much of an asshole as I am, I don't want to ruin somebody's alliance. I don't want to piss in somebody's Cheerios, right? Like, these are supposed to be two very separate events, and you're allowed, like, Dave went 3-0 and then transferred to Alliance. So those are 3 losses that somebody ate, 3 people ate, for a player not... Oh, Dave was 2-1. I'm sorry, Morgan. You beat him round 3. Good for you. But those are... Okay, so still, 2 people that 8 losses. This might have changed the whole top 8. You know what I mean?
And it matters because of the 2LO system.
Right. Because of the system that we have involved now, it might have changed everything. Like, there might have been people that weren't there day 2 or in the top 8 that, could have been there because of the 2LO system, because of how it all works. I don't know. Just, it was one of those things. I kind of was rubbed the wrong way about it. Right? Because again, like, number one, I was a softball to whoever I was going up against, right? Does that really give you a proper top 8? I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, If you want good competitive play, I don't think that was the way to do it.
I think it beats one of the formats where every single entry automatically tops 8, right? As unideal as it was.
Or auto top 4s.
Right. So, I mean, it's I agree with you. It's not ideal, but I don't know. Like effectively, a few players ruined somebody else's experience in the other format because of reasons.
Let me say it this way. Draz, you were at both Rochester and Roseville. So what did you see as the difference between both of the vaults this year? Was there a difference?
It wasn't whatever.
Well, yeah. It wasn't staggered, but outside of that, just seeing the difference in amount of people.
Definitely felt like there was more folks around at Rochester. But we still had fun. Like, it was awesome to see you guys, right? Like,
Drazcor felt that way because there was more folks at Rochester.
Yes, true story.
Statistically, there was more people there than at Roseville.
There was, right? And a lot of my locals went up to Rochester, which was cool. But Roseville is awesome because you guys were there and got to hang out with all you guys. So I had a great time. I don't get uptight about stagger, not whatever. Just like whatever it is, like I'm gonna play, and have fun. Now I did. So actually, I played Dave game 1 and lost. But the thing that got me was like it was such a terrible draw, and it was on stream. I'm like drawing like crap, and there's really I mean, I could have done something different. I could have played a different 2-2-2 to get out of 2-2-2, maybe, but it was just real bad. So, I was struggling through this game. Where I'm just like, I could do nothing. Like, I'm drawing my artifact control. He doesn't have artifacts yet, but he will, because I've seen his deck list. I'm drawing my creature control. He doesn't have creatures yet, but he will. So I see his deck list, right? Like, all this is just not good. So that happens sometimes. Sometimes you draw real poorly. So I did not do great. And this was the Professor Thundrow. This is the deck that I got top 4 in the open at Worlds, and just did not get the cards, and didn't do great. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but I don't know. Maybe it'll make me look for a different deck. I got other decks in my collection too, so I don't know. We'll see. Or go back to Arya, one or the other.
You have options.
Yeah.
You really do. I will say, so we had 21 players for sealed. There were 24 in Archon that ended up going ahead and showing up. I roll into game number 1. Good news, it did work for me. So I had no issues with our pairing software, which was really nice. Playstyle worked. And unfortunately, it paired me up with your local and our teammate, Mammon. And that's how my day started. So Mammon happened to be on borrowed deck from one of your other locals, Barlow. So thanks, Barlow, for lending him this beautiful little gem. This is a talk deck that is Paranormal Adriel of the Gateway. Yeah, it rocks a Prowler, which is a 1-power elf thief token. After Reap, if your opponent has more amber than you, steal one. But what's really nice about this deck is it has 21 printed amber. Okay. It has quad routine job, against all flags, and red line rotation, double raiding party, and then the Untamed has Nature's Call, Unnatural Selection. I actually felt that Unnatural Selection was the only wipe that I had seen in kind of what was there. But it's hysterical when he has 21 printed amber. Its showing for expected amber is 43. Like, that is just so much. But I did notice, like, okay, I have to tack this with and I should say, the deck that I was playing, I did end up going and playing Tang the Harrier of Fertone. That is my GR deck. I did really, really, really debate about playing some Omnipus and Clocks, but I did not end up going with that. That was pretty late, but I went with Tang. Tang had been really sitting well with me, and I opened up, and Mammon had right from the start everything that he could possibly want. He's a phenomenal player, and this deck just absolutely smashed me. He opened up going second with 5 Skyborn creatures. Yes, there's only 18 total creatures there, but he had Raiding Party, Navigator, Qatar, he had Indigo Hayward, and then Chandler Anook, and then something else. It was ridiculous. That was a massive board, and with the amber printed there, I was not doing anything. I finally got rid of the board, and I built up my amber, and he goes, boop, routine job. All right, we fight through that. Before the routine jobs came, I actually had pushed to 7 because he had only played 5 cards that were in his discard pile at that time. I'm like, what's the chance that he has redline rotation? I will push to 7. I pushed to 7. He had redline rotation. So he played everything that he needed, and this was an absolute smashing. But again, Mammon, phenomenal player. He ends up making top 8 with the deck, and very, very well deserved. So Barlow, you got a good deck there, man. And it was good to see him there. So a little down. I'm not going to lie. I think that understanding if you have hopes for a deck, if you have hopes for doing well, again, we just talked to Wookie about being on your game and making sure that you start right from game 1. I'm happy that it was not Philly from 2 years ago, where I had to go ahead and fight back for 10 rounds in order to be able to make it. So I did appreciate the adjusted 2LO. But I end up facing our good friend Fig in game number 2. And I told you guys that I wanted to actually play with my Omnipus and I wanted to play with clocks. Well, I did not get a chance to play with clocks.
Ah, yes, pussy clocks.
But I did. I did get to go ahead and play with an Omnipus. And so that really did make my day. Fig, thank you for letting me go ahead and do this. My deck is 100% Tang, has a couple different things, but the Mars is really where everything is at. It's got Zip, Shrink Ray, Flotsam, double Rebels, double Zik. And so Zip and the Doctor, along with your Rebel, can just go ahead and take over the board. And so that's what my deck wanted to do. And my favorite part facing against Fig was that I rule of 6 to steal his Omnipussy and 5 Tentaclids. Next turn, I had stole a Memo Leech. And so to finish the game, I actually did something I've never done before, and I called a house that was not on my Archon card at all. I called Unfathomable. And you're like, why would you call Unfathomable? Because it was 100% the right play. With the Memo Leech, I stole 2 with the Reap, gaining an extra 3. I reaped with the Omnipus for 5 Tentaclids, plus the 1 for the Omnipus for 6. And I got a chance to go ahead and fight with those Tentaclids with Skirmish to kill off his board. It was hysterical. So it really made my day, and I was very, very happy to go ahead and actually play some Omnipus, even though I did not have it. Game 3, I faced Liam, who is one of the locals from right there in Roseville, and so I got a chance to see another local player. So congrats, and I ended up facing Liam a couple times. And I will say, one of the things that stood out to me about Liam is that as we got into the later games, even on the finals on Sunday, he came up and asked, hey, what would you do in this scenario? And I cannot stress this enough. That is the type of individual that will go further, that's going to learn and pick other KeyForge brains of like, why would you do this? So we were just talking shop. There were other people that were around. I pulled sheep in. But again, being able to show different lines, being able to see things, there are things that I messed up horribly. I still remember them being on screen when I was much younger, and this was FFG days. But be open, go ahead, you learn through asking questions and then just picking people's brains as to why are you playing in this way, or what would you do in this scenario? And I know, Drescor, you and I, and Wookie, we'll go ahead and say things, Pete. Sometimes it's just dependent. You have to be flexible and understand that it's not always going to be constant that I should kill this item.
Unless it's the witch. Kill the witch.
Unless it is the witch. But there were times, especially with my Zip, that I honestly made a choice to keep my opponent's creatures and to be able to kill off my Rebel because I could bring that back. And as long as I'm not going to be targeted with a Mark of Dis or some way to be able to control me into a house that's not there, it made sense in that manner, and it didn't matter what was out. Now, against Mammon, that unnatural selection was a really big concern for me. By stealing his creatures, I could actually put myself in a really big issue where my board is wiped and I end up with just his creatures out, which is basically a board wipe on the one side. So think about that. That kind of comes in pretty big. But I love Liam. We played a couple times. Right before I actually ended up having the play-in game against Dexter, I ended up facing Liam again. So his Archon deck was very, very, very worthwhile. It was a solid player. And again, that's someone who's going to go far when you get into the game. Only been around for just a little bit of time.
He's one of your mythical new players. He said he's just started playing this year. He didn't come from Magic, Hearthstone, or anything else. I know I asked him what brought him to KeyForge, and he explained it, but I forgot.
Yeah.
Way to go, Pete. Way to go, Pete.
Sorry.
I forgot.
Story, bro.
Part of it, Pete,
It's a standard AC story. They told me all about it, but I forgot.
No, so Liam is a part of Local with Josh. So shout out to Josh for being able to organize the Local and be able to bring someone in. You want to entice and excite someone, and he's doing a good job with that. So awesome job.
But I forgot.
There you go. And then I got a chance to go on stream and face Dexter. You can all go and see this game. I felt really bad that one, it's my teammates. We're going in. Dexter and I had already played this match, so it was not a good feeling. Dexter, even when we start, like, what are you giving odds for this? And Dexter had here 65, 35. 35% chance for me to win. Like, it is just, he has a key cheat. I don't. The decks are very, very, very similar. We'd played it before. And so you could see kind of going very, like, we were both pretty slow to open up. His triple Haunting Witch is really a problem. But again, it comes down to you're in the moment, you're stressed, what's happening. I knew an early play was to eliminate his what is it?
Kill the witch.
No. It was not the witch. It was actually to purge his Lost in the Wild. That is his C, or his removal. And I have capture on my creatures. And so by using Lost in the Wild, it's not going away. Like, those creatures just get shuffled back in, which slows up my deck and becomes more of a problem. And he's shuffling in his creatures of value, like his Haunting Witches. And so in the play, it was actually to get rid of that. So I made the choice, instead of playing one of my creatures early, to discard his Lost in the Wild, which came up. So that limited him only to one. And then it came back later on that he made a choice. And that choice was he played two of his three Haunting Witches essentially in the last turn, the second last turn. And he then Lost in the Wild to send them back, putting his deck with essentially an extra 2 cards. And so we had talked about this. He immediately recognized it afterwards. And again, that's what a good player will do. They'll look at it. Okay, what can I learn from this scenario? And Dexter saw it. We kind of talked through. Had he just played one of the Haunting Witches, put Lost in the Wild, and then played the other 2, he is guaranteed his key cheat, which he had enough amber for in his spooky charge. But he ends up handing me the deck. There's 4 cards in it. He goes to cut. And for the first time ever, I did not cut. I tapped, boys.
Look at you.
Spooky charge was in the bottom 2 cards because he drew 2 of the 4. So that is the only reason. Honestly, Dexter should have been in there. And things changed. I ended up going ahead later on. I faced Morgan in the top 8, and her deck was phenomenal. Really thinking, kind of going back and forth. I like to see the old woe that was there. And I lucked out there. And the cards were with me. And then in the final 4, I did not luck out. I played Zenzik. So congrats. And Zenzi, really kind of interesting. The deck, for my deck, Tang just could not draw. It could not get out from itself. And sometimes that happens. Again, Draz, you were talking, like, if you're in a 2-2-2, you made some choices on what to draw. Maybe you draw elsewhere. I had my Geistoid that I could not get out from under, and I ended up with a hand. And for the first time, I actually was playing a dead hand where I could only play the board in order to keep him off of check. And it did actually work to get a second key, but I really should have lost that game 3-1 instead of 3-2. So play to your outs, keep going on, but Zenzi then ends up making it into the top. So congrats. And I know it was really odd, but Zenzi had actually talked because he's like, do you realize what you have done to me? And he listed off. He's like, you beat me at the Open. You beat me in Roseville. You beat me. And he like went through all this. He's like, you're my arch nemesis. And I'm like, I never even knew it. Like it was great because apparently I shot him up and it was his own personally named deck. But it was neat to see that like he had been working so hard. He had
Your Zenzi's June.
I was never able to really beat June when it mattered, and Zenzi did beat me because
this was your year.
This was my year, and Zenzi took that. So, but honestly, Zenzi played really, really well, and congrats. So, very well
for
played.
you. It was a Tuesday.
For me, it was a Tuesday. That's right, Pete. Just another Tuesday.
All right, let's get into our top 8 for Archon, since we're a little long on the tooth and still have a whole format to go. Top 8, Jace, Morgan, Mammon DG, and Tobinator all taking it top 8. Your one, your only, your Ewok Jr. and Flaming Hobo in top 4. And congratulations, runner-up, X-Ray and Zenzik, taking it all.
They both ascend. And X-Ray going ahead and playing Mammon's deck. That was Olympio, and he played it perfectly.
There was the really question of, does that make Olympio more expensive now or less expensive? Like we nobody could decide. Like we were all kind of like arguing in the corner. Like is like, well, it's like, well, now it should like double in price, right? Because now it's a running up Vault Tour deck, right? Like it should become more expensive.
Yeah, but you also can't.
But now it's also ascended, so you can't play it the rest of the year. So like, do you got to wait till 2026 to sell it? Because I mean, you can play it in the open.
You play it at Worlds with an invite.
You can play it at Worlds. You can play it in the open, right? Because the open is technically 2026, is what we were all told this weekend.
That's news from this weekend, yeah.
Yep. The opens are technically the start of next year's event. So,
right.
You guys let us know what you think. Does that make Olympio now more expensive or less expensive? Only you can decide. But at the same time, we had Alliance happen. Was I the only? Oh no, Sheep played Alliance with me.
Yeah,
He's not here.
Sheep was 2-1 also, and after taking the loss, and ended up deciding to go and bounce over to Alliance because he felt that he was not going to go ahead and be successful with the other decks for Archon that were left, and that he would guarantee himself at least 2 more games by playing in Alliance. And again, this is where people want to just play more KeyForge, and so that was a really interesting choice. I will tell you that when Sheep did that, even at the same time, I did not think my deck was going to make it into the top 8. And so I really, really thought about being able to go ahead and bounce over to Alliance. I'm glad I didn't. I wanted to still see if it could come back and make a run, and it did. But it was nice to be able to test the deck against some really good decks that were out there. But you were in Alliance, Wookie. What did you end up doing?
I did. What did I end up doing? Not much.
Yeah.
It was just another Tuesday. My first game was against Captain Crispy. I took a nice little L there. I missed on the card because he had kind of. So he's like,
did you miss reading a card again?
No, he had it covered up, and I maybe made one play. Calculated error is what I'm going to call it, right? So here's the skinny. I get into my like little Rumble, young man Rumble, right? It's a triple Battlefleet deck, and I'm in my library access turn. Now, I am fully aware he has Mark of Dis. I'm looking for one card. So I come to the point where it's now time to play critters, right? I have Bouncing Death Corked all the critters I can, and I draw another critter. So in my library access turn, with about, 4 cards left to go, all I need is the phase shift. So do I take the 25% gamble, play the critter that I know is probably going to get hit with a Mark of Dis, and hope for that phase shift? Or do I discard it and just play for another day? What do you think I did?
Pushed.
I gambled. Yeah, 100%. I gambled and missed.
It definitely sounds like something you did.
I gambled and missed, and that was kind of the end of it. After that, I thought I was good to go, but I did not. I did totally miss a control of the week, which was a Maverick on the bottom. I'm like, all right, well, you can only mark of dis me once, right? Like, because it was double mark of dis, but I just totally missed it because he kind of had his cards stacked. Like, here's this house, here's this house, here's this house, trying to show me which houses were what. Mm-hmm. And it got covered up by one of the other cards because he was using the previous cards to like kind of cover up the dead houses, and I didn't see it. So that was the end of that game. Game two, I go up against Pete. Let me tell you about this asshole. What a dick, this Pete.
Well, hold your horses real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold them.
You were tilted all morning long leading up to that match, right? Your Archon deck wasn't doing what you wanted. Your first
No, I
match,
wasn't too mad about the Archon deck, but I was a little pissed about my kid. Yeah.
You were so grumpy.
I was a little grumpy.
I thought, well, I'm out of Archon. The least I can do is jump in Alliance. Maybe I get lucky. At worst, maybe I give a teammate a win, right? Now, say that.
Well, you were playing Archon, so yes.
Yeah, you were playing Archon. He just brought an Archon deck into Alliance.
It was the same one I played in Archon. I was so lazy.
Good on you.
Part of me still hoped I would eke out a win, though. But
let me tell you what this dick did to me, right? Turn one, I think I mulliganed because I hated my hand, and I mulliganed, and I end up with, I have Battlefleet and Key Abduction. No, I don't have the Key Abduction yet. I have a Battlefleet, though. It's a really bad Battlefleet, but, I mean, I mulliganed. I can't mulligan again, right? Even if I could, I would have. But whatever, it's fine. So Pete leads out turn one, clipped wings. To take a card out of my hand. What card do you think he hit? No, I don't have that yet. He hit the Battlefleet.
Okay.
So, great. We're down a Battlefleet, but double Battlefleet Key Abduction's fine, right? Like, I mean, that's what fraud does, right? So that's fine. So we're playing along. I'm archiving some cards. I got like 4 or 5 sweet cards in archive. I pull my Key Abduction, and I'm like, all right, time to go, right? We got the Key Abduction. I got a few cards down here ready in reserve. Let's do this. And then Pete plays another Clipped Wings. And I'm like, all right, let's shuffle these back in. And I keep trying to like get Pete to do that and not take a card from my hand. Pete still decides to take a card from my hand. And I think you hit another Battlefleet.
No, I believe I popped an Empyrean Charge to knock out your archives. And then Haunted Deck.
Yeah, Haunting Deck. It was because, it was in my archive. Yeah, he hit Haunting Deck, my Key Abduction. So then it went, fuck it, I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned way.
Yes, sir.
And win by getting 18 Ember and waiting 3 turns. This is bullshit. I hate my life. I mean, I did it, but it was still bullshit that I had to go that route. Because I was struggling. I had played Fig a few games with it, and I had played... I had played Sheep a few games with it. Sheep is pulling absolute fire with that. It's a Genka deck, right? Like, he could just do no wrong.
Yeah, that was
like, you're right, but like, just we played like 5 games, and it was just like every time by turn 2, he's just logo slooping. Like, for real, like every time. Like, it didn't matter. I feel like we could have played a million games, and just every time he's logo slooping by turn 2, and I'm like, how is this even possible? This doesn't make sense. Like, statistics say that this shouldn't happen. But it did. And so, yeah, that's why I was grumpy, because I don't know, Sheep was just pulling straight fire.
Can I say that sometimes statistics just don't line up?
No, I understand that sometimes statistics aren't the end-all, be-all, but holy crap. And then he went on and did it like 4 more games.
But Wookie, probability just doesn't hit. In the final 4 game, where I actually need my deck to show up against Zenzi, I'm pushing. I had leaned into Mars because there are 10 cards left in my deck. 10.
Yeah, I know.
6 of those are my Mars. My next 2 cards were Rebel and Zip. I also had the Don't Believe Your Eyes. Like 6 of the 10. That is absolutely crazy. But at the same time, you learn fun things like Poltergeistoids. This is the ultimate card, this rare purge a card from a discard pile.
So good.
Correct. It really overplayed because it allowed me to do things that other people wouldn't see. I took an off turn instead of playing my own creature, which it has an option at the right time. Because the later part says, if you do, play a creature or artifact from your purge zone as if it were in your hand. Attached it to it as an upgrade with the text, this card belongs to House Geistoid. But what I did against Zenzi, which really freaked him out, was I hit his target and I purged. So I fought the target, purged it, and that really did some damage to ethically renowned Zenzik.
All right.
And so being able to see that, those are things where sometimes you just don't get your cards, and sometimes you can find some lines that end up playing better for you.
Well, I ended up winning with Untamed because I had to, because that's all I had against Pete. Like that's all I got. Like,
but 18 Amber is awesome, man, to generate. It's funny.
It's not what the deck's supposed to do, but it did it. We got there, right? So now I'm 1-1. And I already told Pete. Pete, do you remember what I told you?
I don't.
I said I'm gonna owe like a fistful of money after this. I said I'm gonna end up in some fucking dumbass fucking play-in game, and I'm gonna punt that one. This deck has not been behaving all day the way it should have, and I'm gonna end up in a play-in game and be right outside top 8. And
can I go and say?
Yep, you can say whatever you want.
Alliance, can we please not use 2LO? 2LO is not intended with a small amount of players. So the 11 players, it is not.
Oh yeah, I mean,
great.
Fig,
like this is,
Fig made it in losing a game.
With this, it's bad. There was an individual in the top 11, because there's 11 players, who had won a game but didn't make top 8. And there's someone else who had gone ahead and lost twice to the same person who didn't win a game who made top 8.
Because buys count as wins, and because we had 11, correct. There was a buy.
Yeah, so we need to not be using 2LO when you have such a small player amount.
Yeah, well, one day.
I just that I can at least say that's something that's there. I think that you should have just played and then done strength of schedule if you want to have the last couple people play for that slot.
I mean, we could have done 2LO straight to the top, I guess. I mean, that's kind of what I did. But, you know.
You did have another newer player in Scott Kelly going ahead and making top 8, though, for Alliance. So congrats.
There you go. But then I got to go play Panic again. I don't know what Panic's playing. I'm all sorts of bitter and angry because my deck is just not. It's not doing what it's designed to do. It's not performing. It's not coming out correctly. I've played it a bunch of times. Like, it's just not. It's not doing the thing. Arg. And sure enough, there's 2 people. And I got a little angry. I'm like, so wait, so you're gonna tell me that there's people out here, one's getting a bye and automatically advancing, even though they have the same exact schedule as me. Or same exact, quote unquote record as me. They're getting a bye and auto advancing, and you're having one person that got a bye and won a game, and who is advancing now. Okay, whatever, fine. So again, 2LO not doing its thing.
Yeah, we did come up. We talked about this on the ride home because we had a couple hours to be able to brainstorm. But the thought process is we don't want to punish the buy person. It's not their fault that they get a buy. But what should happen is if there is a play-in game, anyone who was on the buy should be playing instead of the people who've played a physical game and won.
Right.
Like, that is, I think, very acceptable. and it allows the people who got the buy, they're not punished by it, but they still get a chance to go ahead and fight for that spot.
Right.
But the idea of if you won a game and you're in a fight in game versus I get a buy and the buy oversteps you, that is a real not cool thing.
So whatever, I'm like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm preparing myself to be right outside the top 8 with a, Vault Tour winning deck. And you can watch me and Panic's game on stream. It's all of like 7 minutes. I did make one mistake, and I saw Hobo trying to castrate me for using the second Nep Seed for a battle fleet. I did not have enough to get both. I was one short of getting both key abductions off, because I could have battle fleeted, Nep Seed, battle fleeted, then key abducted, but I was one shy. And that's why I did what I did, because I'd started counting at that point. You can't see it because the rest of my hand is off screen, but I'm counting, and I'm going to be one shy unless I pop that other battle fleet. So I had to. And then, it didn't matter at that turn. At that point, I had so much Ember, and he didn't really have much Ember control, so... kind of feel bad for Panic, lost on time, and then kind of went up against the deck that was due, right? Like, it was like due for a big win, and it got it, so kind of felt bad. And then we move into top 8, and of course, who do I gotta play? No guesses? Just want me to say it?
Sheep.
I gotta play Sheep, which is the deck that buzzsawed me not too long ago. And thanks, Sheep, for screwing up, because if it wasn't for Sheep's screw up, he would have won, but he screwed up, so I ended up winning.
There you go.
He's like, I think I can win it. No, I can't. I think I can't. I was like, if you can, do it. And then he's like playing his turn, he's doing all this stuff, and he's like, crap, I can't win anymore. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I played the Sutterkins. And I'm like, okay. He's like, I'm now a card short to hit the key abduction. If I wouldn't have played the Sutterkins, I would have been fine.
Yeah.
So
he actually played the card where the correct call was to hold it.
Right. Well, he
So
needed to
his hand
play
size,
the
yeah.
card. Was he in a library access situation? I can't remember. He was in a situation too, but like he had to do a couple of things to get himself into position, but he played the Sutterkins. But if he didn't play the Sutterkins, he would have won.
Yeah, there's no key abduction. That's Sydney's.
There's key abduction in that deck.
No, but there's no library access.
No. Oh, there's no library access in that deck? Okay. I forget. He was doing some stuff to get himself in position, but he played the Sutterkins, which is what ultimately cost him the game. And the next turn, I did some battle fleety things and ended up winning. Moving into Gorlami, another short game. It's top 4 now.
Yeah. So the top 8 was Fig, Captain Crispy, Scott Kelly, and then Sheep. And then yes, your top 4 is Gorlami and Sydney Steele. So you faced Gorlami then.
I faced Gorlami. The deck did what the deck was supposed to do, right? It did its namesake. I ended up winning on a Logos turn on phase shifts. I had enough phase shifts to do my Mars stuff in Logos, so that worked out well. And I don't know if that deck was prepared for speed of that magnitude, because I actually don't know what his deck would have done. He had played Fig round in the top 8, and I didn't really get a chance to watch it, even though they were next to us. So I'm not really 100% sure what Gorlami's deck was all about.
Yeah, it's a woe deck with corner of the markets, prospector to draw. You are looking at Martian Revolution is actually in Mars to be able to destroy the prospectors and draw. It's a really cool deck. And then you've got double bubbles, Bryo, triple abyssal sight, illusions. That's a nice unfathomable.
I saw one abyssal sight, and then it promptly popped off. So, yeah. Then I go up against Dave in the finals. His deck is a correct counter to my deck. Bummer is what it is. He's playing a Worlds Collide stealth mode deck, which he can recur his stealth modes, and it's got 5 eddies or something like that.
Yeah, from Caruso, which is his.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's got a lot of tools to be able to get that stealth mode into hand. Well, guess what my deck likes to do?
Action.
It likes to play actions. Yeah, it likes to play actions. And when you're going up against stealth mode, it just doesn't matter.
So, 5 Edi, Daughter, Tau Vapors, Igor, Neutron Shark, Resembling for the nice Neutron and Resembling. Zenzi
and basically the big hit for him is getting the spears on table and then able to do stuff.
Yeah.
Because he can basically discard his hand until he finds stealth modes.
Yep.
And it's got double punk to be able to do the same thing. You know, if he doesn't have the stealth mode, he can punk to stealth, find one.
Key charge,
yeah. I don't know if he has a key charge. Does he? I don't know.
Yeah, he does. I'm looking at it right now.
Never saw the key charge, but doesn't matter.
It's a beautiful deck, but both of you ascend, Dave. So congrats on becoming a Vault Warrior, and Wookie, congrats on being able to ascend. So you're going Worlds, man.
I did what I wanted to do. I ascended the deck. It has stuff in the Master Vault now, I'm told. I don't know if any of this is true, but
even if it doesn't, it will. So
maybe they don't like me over there. Just saying. All right.
So congrats. I will say that GG did a nice job. They had run the Prophetic Visions tournament again. So that was awesome to see, and people were super excited by it. I will say the absolute highlight of the Prophetic Visions before it got down was Dim Flaming Hobo was in a sealed game, or a second Amber game. It was one of the two that they had pulled the ticket. So Josh actually pulls the ticket, and they were in the middle of the game, and no one could find the ticket, and they realized that they were actually playing for it in that moment. So it actually held value, and it was pretty cool to see them kind of fight it out for that spot. But 8 people enjoyed the tournaments, had a lot of fun, and it was great to see Prophetic Visions in person and to see what that set's going to be able to do.
Yeah, I would have liked to see them spread that, though. I don't know. I just don't like it's like 8 people.
I was fine with it.
Why not do a bit? I mean, you could do pods of 8, but why not more? I mean, you were fine with it. You got to play in it, didn't you?
Yeah, that's the joke.
Oh, okay.
I have one thing to say about Prophetic Visions, is that there is a prophecy that everyone is going to hate. Is my prediction. My own prophecy.
Oh, that's your own prophecy. Nice.
Yeah.
Is that a card in the game? Is it called Pete's Prophecy?
No, it could be. But this one's called Ask Again Later. And it's a prophecy. It reads, each time your opponent chooses their active house, they must name a house and blah, 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 blah. The key part there is each time your opponent chooses their active house. That's the thing you do every turn.
Yep.
And with prophecies, you can activate them, or whatever the word is, every turn. You can slip any card from your hand under them. It's efficiency baked right into the set. And so...
that's good. We're all going to love it, right?
Well, yeah, but that's one of the things y'all hated about GR was how much efficiency and recursion there is.
Well, I'm not even talking about how good it is. It's just, it says, reveal the top card of your deck. If the revealed card does not match the named house, fulfill Ask Again Later. So if you want to play this card effectively, every single turn, your opponent has to figure out what house whatever it says. Anyways, you have to dig through the discard pile, kind of measure the odds, and then call a house. It's every turn. It's the only
I see what you're saying.
It is consistent. It is 2/3 probability that you're going to go ahead and reveal something that isn't shown.
It's never 2/3. It's literally never 2/3, because you can look at a discard pile, you can see what's on the board.
Correct. And so it is less, but you still have that option from what's there. It's going to be how often do you want to lean into this? I will say prophecies, going around and reading all of them and seeing both the fronts and the backs, it's going to come down to what prophecies you have. I still want to see once Prophetic Visions comes alive and we're going to run it for Alliance, how is that going to happen? I know for tokens, you had to have a pod that we were bringing in for the token. I assume it's the same, but some of these prophecies are much, much, much easier to be able to have happen. You must have more amber than your opponent. You must have less amber than your opponent. Or you flip a coin, heads or tails, or go ahead. So some of these are very easy. Others, when you forge a key, well, that's only going to happen twice. The third one doesn't count because the game's already won at that point. And to be able to get into flipping a key, that's only essentially eliminating 2 cards. So I think the prophecies, it does matter, and we'll have to keep looking. We've seen quite a few of them scanned into decks of KeyForge already. But what did you think from the prophecies that you saw outside of that individual one, Pete?
I'm still reserving judgment. I don't want to say I think I'm going to hate it, but if I had to lean one way or another, I'd say I'm not excited about it. My most recent card game I played prior to KeyForge was Hearthstone. Hearthstone has secrets, right? Where you do a thing, it triggers an effect. The condition for the trigger is always the same, and then the effect is always the same. And you usually get 4 or 5, relevant ones per class, which is its own thing in Hearthstone. But anyways, you only really have to worry about 4 or 5 of these things in a matchup once you see that your opponent is using them. With the prophecies, every deck in the set has 4 of them. And across the cards in your deck, you're going to have maybe 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 different fates. Multiply that by 4. It's just like, ugh. And they don't even have to use fates. They could just put any random card under them. So you always have to account for it. It's so much bookkeeping and trying to anticipate just an additional thing. I'm not completely passing judgment right now, but if I had to lean one way or another, I would say it's going to be effing miserable.
Interesting.
I don't know. I mean, when I played, it was a lot of fun.
It's a novel. It's novel. It's like a novelty. It's kind of neat. I don't know that I'm going to want to play game after game of it, though.
I think that the prophecies add. I think the prophecies add quite a bit. I think what's going to happen is early on, there's going to be mental taxation in order to be able to, like you forget about the prophecies when you're playing them. That's the initial response. But once you start to play a little bit more frequently, what I have found is that you're going to get into essentially 1 or 2. Some of the decks that can push, here's 2 prophecies that will trigger consistently, like every turn. That's what you're going to be turning over. The other 2 you kind of just ignore. And then from there, it literally just comes down to knowing key cards that have that are going to go ahead and have the greatest impact on your play. So when I'm looking here, I'm trying to think of a couple of them. There are some of these that they're degenerate, skipping a turn. In others where if it's a card or it's a small little action, it has some impact on the game, but it is not as impactful as one might want. So even here, I'm looking at DOK for Embellish Imp, Fate, destroy the most powerful friendly creature. So it's a bummer. Where I typically had found that I was making a mistake is that you really have to pay attention to the prophecy of when it's going to trigger. And that is on both people who are involved. I'm curious to see in tournament play how they're going to rule when it is missed. Because this, I think, can really lead to a problem of, I actually reaped three creatures ago, and your prophecy says when I reap, but we both forgot about it. So what happens there? And I think we're going to have to be clear about that, because what is actually happening is as soon as that first person reaps, if that's what the prophecy is, it immediately stops and will have a game impact. So it is essentially an instant boop, must resolve, and everything else happening after is going to be changed. Now, reaping is not as bad, but if you've done the rest of your turn and you realize it, it's going to get sloppy. So definitely stay on your edge. I think people early on, it's going to take some mental capacity.
I think we talked about this when Grim Reminders came out. especially was like, oh, this is going to cause people to get game losses with the order of discard pile and yada yada and so on and so forth.
I think we've figured out our
prophecies.
order for discard.
Yeah, I mean that was. I mean maybe. I mean it might have just been nobody's been called on it yet either. But prophecies might be one of those ones that this might end up. I mean if PV ends up becoming a thing, or as I like to call it, HPV, becomes a thing. I mean, you could, yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like, I reaped 3 creatures ago. How do we walk this back to correctly do this?
Yeah, and sometimes you can. I just pulled up Emir O Felgap, which was in DOK. Solo, Fate, destroy each creature. So something of that where there's a board wipe, man, if I have everything here and it's on a reap, you're going to need to know what the prophecies are for your opponent. It'll be interesting to see how people can kind of poker this up. Sometimes I can feint that I'm playing a Fate. Other times there's some really good Fates that are being played and they'll have a direct impact. So it'll be interesting.
I mean, they're almost as good as tight pips. Almost.
No, it is a tight pip as
depending on your prophecy. It's almost as good as tight pips.
Correct.
You got a good prophecy, you're stashing a card a turn.
Correct. And if I have a good prophecy and I can go ahead and have a Fate that's good on top of that, oh boy, that is great. Like when I'm looking at solo here, picture the Mars shenanigans that exists in GR right now. And so if it is under a prophecy where I reap and then the Fate is triggered, all of a sudden it destroys the board. Creature. It just wiped the board. Well, I no longer have that big Mars. Guess what? My Mars board is gone. I now am playing offhand. Maybe I made a choice to play the Mars board and I don't actually have a Mars card in hand. I essentially time walked myself. Like there's some really big plays with Fates that I think we're going to see. So I'm excited for it.
So, you know, when you're playing against Skyborn and you go to forge a key and you have to choose a color.
Yes.
Does anyone really enjoy that decision-making process? Now imagine doing that every action of every turn, looking at the deck list and being like, okay, what do I need to worry about here? What's under that prophecy card? Now, yeah, there's only 4 different conditions you can hit. And sure, through the course of the game, you're going to understand, all right, my opponent's really only using 2 of these.
Correct. 2 prophecies.
But it's in every house throughout the set. I think.
But Pete, you only...
it's got to stick or it's going to be awful.
Yeah. So here's the thing that I'm going to say. When we look at an Archon card, there's key scaling amber control. I'm looking for TMTP. I'm looking for red line. I'm not looking for every single card that's going to be amber control. And so you're going to know which fate cards, essentially which cards hold true value because their fate is ridiculous. Outside of that, you're going to let most of it slip because our minds will not be able to hold on to all of that. That's just where I have seen
I get where Pete's coming from on like just the bookkeeping aspect of it all.
Yeah,
like needing to know it and like needing to know like, okay, because it does add like a weird like order of operations too, right? Like if it's a reap, it's like, well, if that's my game plan for this turn, right? Like I have one option and that's it. Like, or do I go into this? And like it's mentally taxing it can be. Now, again, we'll see. We'll see how many of those fate. You know, I just hate when KeyForge does this. It adds that extra element, that extra layer, that extra something into the game that like 90% of the time it has no effect. Like the tide and what was the other one I was looking for? The tide and like creatures with the tide or I'm sorry, no, evil twin decks. Right? Like it was like, oh, like because of how it's split, some cards can only have this, some decks can only have that. Tokens, right? Nothing was worse than getting like, man, I've got this great deck, but my token is a dog water. Right?
I think for prophetic visions, we have Dev was the one who said it, so I'll give credit there. We're gonna have to see how the deck actually plays without essentially the prophecy. The cards have to be good enough to hold their own, and then the prophecies can go ahead and add to that, and then the fates can add to that on top of it.
They do, but like
if you get
a good deck,
enough, it's not going to do it.
I
We'll
don't
find
know.
out. I mean, we will.
Like if you get a good deck with poor prophecies, is it still going to be good? That's the question. It really depends on how much those prophecies play in, right? I mean, I don't know.
I think some decks will hinge on their prophecies being good. Some might be good enough to be good without good prophecies. I think it's just that's KeyForge though, right? Good decks good, bad decks bad.
Good decks good, bad decks bad.
Quoted.
Okay.
Yep.
I know this is totally
Clip that.
off, and we are way past. But
Yeah, we gotta go.
I had someone who called me over. If you have not seen Bridge Officer Zaro, they're like, "Hey, did you go ahead and get your personalized art? Because this is you, Ewok."
Oh yeah,
you got to go check out Bridge Officer Zaro. No, it is not me, so I cannot. I appreciate whoever
is it an Ewok?
Got it.
It is Ewok. Like I don't care. It's like it's either Vladimir Putin or Ewok.
Apparently,
one or the other.
Like it's like a weird combination. I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull it up in DOK.
Spoiled cards.
Bratos the Ruiner.
Yeah, and my other favorite is Reservist Joan.
Scrolling down.
Which is Mammon's personal, right? I believe.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
so good. Yeah. And then he's like he did the pose for Roseville.
Him and Pete. You got Scout Pete and Mammon. Yeah. I don't know. We got that picture, and you can get all those pictures if you like those. I'll maybe try to post them on the Instagram, but a lot of those are in Roseville. I have them all saved in my phone, so we can do that. Make sure if you have anything in the Roseville chat that you want to get, do that before Monday. If you're listening to this before Monday, because Monday
before Monday,
yeah, maybe we'll see. But Monday the channel goes boom. Right, and there's no more Roseville. It's on to Portland.
Speaking of no more, Saturday night played some more games. Second gathering.
Yeah.
We had hibachi, guys.
We did do a hibachi. Yeah.
This really hit the spot. I liked hibachi. So
we
did the buffet at the hibachi. We didn't do like hibachi.
There was no hibachi, but I don't know. I just wanted cheap Chinese food.
I was not even hungry, and then I walked in, and how can you not down
13 sushis?
It was good.
I don't know. Like I was jamming. I was hungry, and I was like, man, I'm really hungry. I don't know why, but like, I want Chinese, but I just like cheap ass greasy Chinese is what I'm jamming for right now. And that's where we went. Cheap ass greasy Chinese at the Chinese buffet. What was that place called? It was actually pretty good.
It was Hibachi Grill and Supreme Buffet.
Yes.
So,
perfect. You know.
And then we went to Elusive, the cocktail room with Razcor. Way to go ahead.
We went down the illustrious murder hallway.
It was
the same place as last year.
That's what I said going in. That's what I said going in. I'm like, this is the murder hallway.
So I think because it was scary as shit last time, they were like, oh, like we probably shouldn't do that. People probably like turned around and left like without going through the murder hallway. So they added purple lights and music through the industrial factory floor so that, and like they hung stars from the ceiling, so it didn't feel like you were about to be murdered nearly as much as it did last year when those rattling chains hanging from the ceiling amongst all the industrial machines.
There was no chains.
It felt less like a murder hallway this time.
There were no chains.
I was really distracted walking in. It had nothing to do with that. As we were rolling in, a friend decided to pull out with their white pickup truck and just totally took out the side of the vehicle as they were pulling out of their spot. And
to be fair, this was not a friend. We don't know this person.
Yeah, we actually have no idea who they are at all, but
Boy Scout Ewok needed to report it.
I don't know. If it was one of your vehicles or my vehicle, I'd be pretty ticked if someone just did that and then took off.
I'd be ticked too, but they ain't never gonna find this person.
I could see their license plate. So,
Ewok took the license plate to the chief of police, and
he took it to the mayor himself.
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner.
So,
the commissioner.
I will be laughed at for this, but I will share. It was a deja vu moment. I had previously had a dream where I saw the same thing happening. And as I'm sitting there, crash goes the vehicle. So I paused and I waited. Okay. I kid you not. I had seen this. The person stopped, but they did not get out. And
I just kept going.
Well, you guys kept going.
You need a drink.
We were way ahead. I didn't even know this happened.
Well, we hadn't even gotten into the cocktail room yet. And so we're literally walking in. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, it really hit on my heart. I paused and I wanted to make sure that they were going to get out. And I think they saw me staring at them because I was in the middle of the road, in the middle of the parking lot, just staring. And so finally they stopped. They got out and you could see that they went up by the window. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, at least they're going to leave a note. But I didn't have real faith. Maybe it's because I've been with too many individuals who make poor decisions and they're like, haha, I see that someone is watching me. And so I'm scribbling
taking cheap shots here, are we? Wow.
I will scribble because someone thinks I just hit your car and I am not really writing a note. Like, I've seen this happen. And so I took a photo of their license plate. And then we went inside and the back side of me says, go check that car. I don't think that they actually left a note. And I didn't want to go initially do this because I don't want to be murdered outside. So
in the murder hallway.
I did tell X-Ray, if I don't come back in 5 minutes, at least call the police. I went outside and that vehicle was gone and there was no note at all.
He was not keeping track of time, by the way.
He did not keep track of time. I'm sure no one even cared. But I came back and I'm like, oh, bug it. Now I
was still pissed at the bartender who didn't card me to find out I ordered a non-alcoholic drink.
Oh my goodness.
And then I asked
the non-alcoholic drink section.
Yeah, I was like, where? She's like, I was like, why didn't you card me? And she's like, you didn't order alcohol. I'm like, what do you mean? I ordered from the drinks. And she's like, that's the non-alcoholic section. I was like, where does it say that? And she's like, right there. And I was like, oh shit.
So again, reading is difficult for Team AC.
Reading is fundamental.
So yes, I came back in. I talked to a different bartender. He was really nice. They had video, and we just wrote it down because I wrote a nice note, and that's what you do. If you see an accident, if you see something, report it, Wookie. Drazcor, do the right thing.
We did. We went and got drinks.
Yeah, we got drinks. Yeah.
Yes, and they were fancy drinks, and they were delicious drinks. And on the way out, another favorite part, I decide, because Sheep has now won, because this was Saturday night where they played the sealed top. So he was happy. I just had a drink, and I jumped up and I rode the Sheep out. Push Wookie
into the steel beam.
It was, you were running in front of us, and by running,
because I heard a choo-choo train coming behind me, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
It was a fast walk, and I was slapping Sheep because I was
all I hear is
his back. He was carrying me.
I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? So I just started taking off.
Wookie, you don't take off at a very fast pace, I must add.
Well,
it was very entertaining.
I was just trying to touch all the stars. That's what I was doing at the time. I was happy enough to. I was like, I'm gonna touch all the stars, and started to, and all of a sudden I just hear smack, smack. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, what the hell? I'm also still trying to touch all the stars because I'm a 12-year-old. And that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. But it was a good time, and we went back, and that's when you guys they were playing the gang, and was that when we played Flip 7 too?
We did play Flip 7. Yeah, Flip 7 was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I like that game. I won one.
So we came into Sunday, Top Cut we've already talked about. There was a Vault Master event that happened Sunday. So if you did not qualify for Top Cut, Pete, did you get a chance to play in the Vault Master event?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us a little bit about it, because I believe it was any Vault Master that you could bring to play.
Oh, no, that was Saturday night. Dexter and myself struggled to find food and get back in time. They had already started without us. I was able to get in, and they said, go ahead, go buy a Vault Master 24 deck. You could jump in. And I said...
I think that was the one where you had like an option of like, what was it, like AOA? Yeah, it was a handful of sets.
No. It was WoW, MMM, and Vault Master 24, because it was the 3 sets that they should not.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So my food looked really good at that point. I said, never mind, I'm good.
Yeah.
But Sunday, we did have a Vault Master sealed with the Vault Master 25.
Ooh, okay, it was all 25s.
And yeah, there's nothing really to say about it. Look at the deck lists. Those are the cards you get. They're all reprints. Some interesting deck combinations, or house combinations, excuse me. And yeah, it was a good time.
I still have to open all my Vault Master. I got a box in my backpack. I don't know how to do it.
Save them. Don't open them. Play with them.
All right.
Love them.
Yep.
I'll try. But
All right.
And think of JML every single time.
I do. Every time I open one,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to post it and then tag Jam just to poke him a little bit.
I'm just going to make sock puppet Discord accounts and say, oh, look at this VM I got when I went to that Vault Tour. I'm so glad I discovered KeyForge.
This totally makes me want to go play more KeyForge. I'm so glad I discovered this while at my local Vault Tour. I would have never have gone if Vault Master 24 wasn't a thing.
25.
25 wasn't a thing.
Yeah. 24 we can burn.
You could skip 24.
You can skip 24. All right.
But we will, we are long here, so we will talk about Vault Master 25 now that we've all played it. That is
nope, still haven't played it. But
Really?
I haven't played any Vault Master 25. I was busy playing in Vault Tours this week.
Thing on Sunday.
Come out on Tuesday. Because
I was say I might have to crack a 25 on Tuesday. I cracked the 125 they gave me because, according to JM, it should be a banger. It was not. It had 3 Archons callbacks. Not bueno.
Sunday prompted a TRG amendment we can expect in the near future. No vomiting allowed.
Yes.
Yes. And with that being said, kids, we will see you all next week.
But what about
Happy
the
forging,
$40 burger?
Oh, the $40. Oh, shit. That's right.
My God,
All right,
it's
so real
11
quick.
o'clock.
All right. So on the way out, myself, Mam and DG, we hop a ride with the Warcaster Forge guys, so Tobin and Jace, and we head to Northbound Smokehouse and Brew Pub. And so grab some beers before I have to get on the plane, get some food. So I got like a plate of meat, barbecue situation. Now, Jace, he orders something outrageous. He orders the smokestack, which I will read what it says on the website here. A sandwich patty, a sandwich of legends, a hamburger patty, corned beef, ham, boneless ribs, porchetta, smoked Swiss, cheddar, and cheese curds with Texas barbecue, all between a toasted egg bun and a curl of bacon, served with hand-cut fries. This sandwich, this burger was a foot tall and costs $40. And it was outrageous, this thing.
So if you need anybody to sponsor you to go to a Vault Tour, it's the Warcast Before guys. They're rolling in dough. Rolling in it.
Burgers.
Hey, I think they should have celebrated. They both did absolutely amazing this weekend, and that burger looks amazing. Like
I celebrated on the way back home.
I'm salivating right now. You fell asleep within 2 minutes of being in the car again, my friend.
That was my celebration.
You wouldn't even wake up when your wife messaged you like, "Hey, where do I have to come get you?" And so I had to respond to her.
Yeah, whatever. She figured it out.
The worst.
The worst. Yeah, I celebrated with Jimmy John. Oh no, where do we go? We got Taco John's.
We did do Taco John's on the way back because we needed to make it.
Yep. So. But with that being said, we're done now, right? There's nothing.
Yeah.
All right,
Get
no
out
more
of here.
burgers or anything we got to talk about. All right, with that being
Happy
said,
fortune, everyone.
happy fortune, everyone.
May the forge be with you.
All right, get out of here, kids. We'll see you next week.